was actually a request, but we're gonna have like tinted moisturizer talk, kind of like Tinted Moisturizer 101. And a lot of people were requesting that they wanted to learn a little bit more about tinted moisturizers. What are they? How do you use them? Who are they for? Etc. etc. So today I just wanted to kind of bring you my 2 cents about it. And of course, I'm asking you guys to leave questions in the comments so that I can answer them like on the blog. So I guess we'll get started. I'm gonna try to make this short, even though that'll be very difficult because you guys know that I am not good at like short videos at all. But I will try to answer the questions that I think you guys may have or that you've already asked, and then we'll answer more in the future. So first off, what are tinted moisturizers? Tinted moisturizers are kind of like foundation, but kind of like a moisturizer as well. They're basically moisturizers that have a little bit of color in them. They are much more sheer than foundation. Foundation is used to cover and conceal and correct. Tinted moisturizers can even out skin tone a little bit. Maybe you have a little bit of blotchiness. It'll help to even out that skin tone, perhaps give you more of a glow, but it will let your imperfections show through a little bit. Also, tinted moisturizers are usually better for the skin. They have beneficial ingredients such as sunscreens and things like that, and because they're such a light application, they'll let your skin breathe. Also, tinted moisturizers have moisture, so they're great during the summer, but they're good for other seasons too. The moisture is what's going to help clear up your skin. If you have oily skin, it'll help say, hey, oil, we don't need to be produced anymore. If you have dry skin, it could help. Especially for aging skin and even for young skin. But tinted moisturizers are this moisture that's beneficial to the skin, usually sunscreen to protect from aging or prevent further aging, and really just, protect you from those UV rays. And then also a little bit of tint so that you're not completely bare, but you're not made up and caked on as well. Generally, they feel very, very light. They're quick to put on. You don't need a primer, you don't need a moisturizer. Underneath, you don't need to set them, they set themselves, and they generally last pretty long, between 4 and 8 hours, depending on which ones you get. What are the differences between tinted moisturizers and foundations? The first and probably biggest difference is the coverage. Foundations are meant to cover and conceal. They're thicker. They have more of a kind of a texture and you can't really see through them. Tinted moisturizers are very, very sheer. You can blend them in and you can usually see through them. So for instance, if you have blemishes like me, you will be able to see those blemishes through the tinted moisturizer, but they're going to be a little bit more covered. In addition, the skin is going to be able to breathe better, and it's best for just clearing out skin tone. Maybe you have a lot of redness in some areas or patchiness. The tinted moisturizer will help cover all that up without making you look a cake of flakosaurus. The other difference between foundation is definitely how it feels on your skin. Tinted moisturizers are very, very hard to feel. You feel like it's a second skin. Don't feel cakey, don't feel like you have a lot on there. Foundations can look and feel cakey. They can feel like they're suffocating your skin. Tinted moisturizers are meant to let your skin breathe. They're meant to let oxygen through and let your skin through, etc., etc. Another big difference is that foundations usually last a lot longer than tinted moisturizers. Foundations usually have a primer, you usually set them with something. Tinted moisturizer, you just slap it on your face and go, which is, why they're generally good for every day. Foundations you can use in photos and special events and stuff like that. Tinted moisturizers are usually only something you want to wear like to the beach or every day or something casual. You don't want to go to a really special event in a tinted moisturizer unless you have amazing skin and you don't need to be on photos or color correct or anything like that. Or if you don't have anything to conceal, etc. The other big difference is the benefits. Foundations don't always have sunscreen, and foundations don't usually have moisture elements as well. Tinted moisturizers are great at giving that moisture that the skin needs, but they're also really good at, having this sunscreen so that we can protect our skin in the future. Also, this isn't true to all tinted moisturizers, but many of them have beneficial ingredients, such as antioxidants or infused with different, natural minerals, because some minerals can be bad. But tinted moisturizers are generally much better for the skin because they let it breathe, they let it oxidize and refresh the way it needs to, and of course you're getting moisture throughout the entire day. Next, who should use tinted moisturizers? Anyone and everyone. I think tinted moisturizers are great for teens just because if you're going to school, you don't want to look cake-alicious, but you want to have a little bit more coverage, you can use a tinted moisturizer just to give your face a glow. You'll look glowing and beautiful, but you're not going to look caked on. It'll help to cover any imperfections just a little bit. It won't completely cover them, but at least you won't look cakey. Also, if your school has rules and regulations, it probably won't break them. Tinted moisturizers are great for middle-aged women, or men, You want to go to the store, you don't want to put on an entire face, you don't want to feel cakey, you're going to drop your kids off, you're going to pick something up, you're going to the beach, you're going to lunch with your friends, and it's not like a super important business meeting, or you're just going to work every day. You can put on a tinted moisturizer to give your skin the benefits and also just to smooth everything out so that you look a little bit more put together but still natural and flawless. Tinted moisturizers are also great for aged skin. Whether you have fine lines and wrinkles or deep set wrinkles, tinted moisturizers are awesome. Reason why is because they have the sunscreen that prevents from further aging. They have the moisture, which will help to plump up those wrinkles so they're not as noticeable. Also, tinted moisturizers very seldom settle into wrinkles. There may be some that cover a little bit in pigment, and you want to be careful with certain tinted moisturizers if it's tinted moisturizer too dry. Be careful because, you know, some will come out as a liquid and then they'll dry to a powder. You don't want that. As older skin, you want to avoid powders because they will settle into those wrinkles. So it's generally best to go for something that's a little bit more sheer and a little bit more kind of oily. You want to give your skin that shine if you're not going to be on camera so that the wrinkles don't show as much. So the tinted moisturizer not only plumps up your skin, but it gives your skin that radiant glow, and it isn't completely mattified for you, and you can always add sprays and stuff like that to keep it a little bit dewy so you have a young, fresh look. For older skin, you generally want to go for something more dewy just to look younger, and when you're younger, you want to tend to go for something matte just to look more, you know, less oily, or I guess a little bit older in essence. But it's great for any age, and of course the benefits are great for any age. You may want to avoid them as small children. And you want to check the ingredients, of course, because some may have parabens. You don't want to expose really young kids to that, especially if they don't need it. Just give them a regular sunscreen that's, you know, organic or natural or put together well. But generally, they're good for anyone and everyone. So next, what should you look for when buying a tinted moisturizer? The first thing you want to look for is sunscreen. If a tinted moisturizer doesn't have sunscreen, it's not even like a tinted moisturizer you should be using. Same with tint. You want to make sure that the tint is your color. Now, tinted moisturizers don't have as many colors as foundations, and because they're so sheer, let's say a foundation has 50 shades, tinted moisturizer could get away with 10. Could get away with one color in tinted moisturizer, and the reason why is because it blends out so sheerly. You do, however, want to make sure that whatever the color array is that you're looking at, that you choose the best one for your skin. Generally, tinted moisturizers are meant to be worn without anything else, so you want to make sure that it's not like you're going to have lines of, you know, orange, or lines of yellow, or lines of pink, or lines of like dark brown separating your face. And if a certain brand doesn't have that for your skin, then go to another one. The other thing that you want to look at is the ingredients. You want to make sure to try to avoid things like parabens and, you know, those nasty synthetic chemicals. Most tinted moisturizers are pretty good at being natural and good for your skin, but there are some that are just kind of cloggy. Some tinted moisturizers are more like foundations than actual tinted moisturizers. They say tinted moisturizer, but they look and feel heavy like a foundation. So you want to make sure that you're getting one that is light enough that it's not going to suffocate your skin. Also, if you have eczema, if you have rosacea, or if you have a skin allergy and something offsets that, of course you can't use products that have that ingredient in it. So make sure that you check for those. In a tinted moisturizer, you should also look for just generally what your concerns are. Some have antioxidants to help boost up the skin. Some are meant for dry skin. Some are meant for oily skin. So make sure you kind of look at what you need and just kind of choose accordingly to your preferences. Now, tinted moisturizers aren't only for the face. There's something called the Miracle Skin Transformer, and I use it on my legs. I use the one in Glow, and you don't have to use it just on your face. It's great for your arms, it's great for your body. Let's say that you want a little bit of shimmer on your body. You could get a tinted moisturizer with a little bit of shimmer. Let's say you just have some skin discoloration on your legs from shaving cuts or something like that. You could slap on a tinted moisturizer that has, you know, just a slight tint with sunscreen, and you're ready to go wear shorts, and you're going to look great, and you're not going to have to put like cakey foundation on your legs that transfers. So tinted moisturizers don't have to be limited to the face. You can use them anywhere and everywhere on the body that you desire. So should you wear tinted moisturizers in summer or winter? Generally, summer is just perfect for tinted moisturizers. You should not wear foundation during the summer. In the summer, your skin gets really, really oily. And you know, you're gonna like soak through your foundation with sweat. It's just gross. A tinted moisturizer will let your skin breathe. If you need to sweat, you can, and it's not gonna offset it. Also, the tinted moisturizer has sunscreen, which is essential for the summer. It also has moisture, which is it's essential for being in the hot sun all day. Now, as great as it is for summer, people think, oh, I only need it during the summer, I don't need it during the winter. Trust me, you do. Winter can be very, very dry, so it's great to have a tinted moisturizer that has that moisture for your skin in the winter. Also, the winter sun can be just as hot as the summer sun in certain areas. It can reflect off the snow if you live in like the tundra or something. So you always have to keep mindful, you know, of what's kind of going on around you in the weather and the environment and the sun and the UV exposure, etc. Tinted moisturizers are great for summer, spring, winter, fall, everything. Every single season they're fine. It's really about where are you going? Do you want to look absolutely mattified and flawless, or are you okay with showing a little bit and just being comfortable in your skin? So that's kind of like when it's best to use them. Really any time that you desire it, and it just kind of depends on the situation and the occasion. There's also a couple things that you should probably know if you're going to buy a tinted moisturizer. First off is that they usually run a little bit dark. Now they're not going to be like 7 shades off, but sometimes tinted moistures oxidize, which means they come out of the tube, and when you put them on your skin, once they set or once they dry a little bit, set into the skin, they're going to darken just a tad. So make sure you test your tinted moisturizer out before you buy it, or you buy it at a place that you're allowed to return it. And I know in Europe you can't return things, but try to make sure that if it's a little bit, if you can't find your right shade, go for the one that's a little bit lighter, because there's a good chance it may darken just a tad. Also, keep in mind tinted moisturizers don't smell the best. Many foundations are filled with fragrance and perfume and stuff like that. Most of the time companies are more mindful of what they put into tinted moisturizers, and they don't fill them with fragrances and additives and things like that. So yeah, they pretty much smell like poop in a bottle, but when you get them on your face, that kind of goes away. If someone smells my face, they're not going to smell all that nastiness. It's just in the bottle, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's really worth it to avoid those products and fillers that you have in, you know, your flower smelling foundation. So do keep in mind they may not smell the best, but they're more beneficial for your skin when you can actually smell what's in them, if you know what I mean. Also, keep in mind, tinted moisturizers are not for covering and concealing. They are not going to cover up your blemishes completely. They are not going to cover up your scars completely. They are not going to cover up your pigmentation completely. They will diminish the look of scars, diminish the look of acne, diminish the look of, you know, these skin imperfections, but they're not going to cover them completely. But that's the other thing. Maybe it's okay to embrace yourself every now and then. Cover up a little bit. You know, it's not as noticeable, but it's still there and you're still embracing yourself. Most people, when you walk into the store, are you looking if someone has like a pimple on like the right side of their ear? No. You're probably more concerned with either your hair or your pimples or your weight or something, and you're more concerned about yourself than analyzing other people. Other people are the same way. They're so concerned about what they look like, they're not going to notice your little imperfections. And when we're talking to someone, our eyes are focusing on them, on what they're saying. And if we see something like a pimple that's completely insignificant, our mind forgets it and it says, we're in a 3-dimensional world, that's irrelevant, let's focus on this. That's just kind of how the brain works. So tinted moisturizers are actually a pretty safe bet. Try it out. It's not going to be like, you know, awful for you. It's actually going to help your skin. And really overall just understand it's not a full coverage product. It's not meant to be a full coverage product. It's just meant to be a small tint. And you can find tinted moisturizers that are full coverage tinted moisturizer or very, very light coverage tinted moisturizer. I would say the Beauty Balm is a pretty medium tinted moisturizer. Something like the Miracle Skin Transformer is like a full tinted moisturizer, and something like the Cover FX tinted moisturizer is barely there. So make sure you get the one for your coverage that you desire or need. Keep in mind that tinted moisturizers may kind of wear off through time, and I don't actually mean wear off, but I mean soak in. What it is that tinted moisturizers are color in moisturizer. If you put on a moisturizer, eventually throughout the day it's going to soak into your skin, right? Same with a tinted moisturizer. Over a long period of time, the tinted moisturizer will soak into your skin, so gradually the tint will kind of fade off or soak in, and it won't be as tinted as it was before. That's why tinted moisturizers generally don't last 8 to 16 hours. At the most, you might be able to get 8, but it's usually about 4 or 6. That's why it's perfect for the beach, out to lunch, somewhere quick every day. You know what I mean? So keep in mind that they will, over time, become less and less covering. When you put them on in the morning, they'll be more covered than at the end of the day. But then you can just reapply during the middle of the day if you really need to, because you don't need to set or anything like that. You just kind of put it on over again. But I hope that this helped you guys. I hope that this answered all your questions. Questions in the bottom. leave it as a comment. I actually have a blog, if you guys know. I'm going to be taking the questions from the bottom tab and putting them on my blog. So if there are any questions you guys have that I did not touch on today or that I didn't answer, be sure to post them down there and they will get answered. Most of them will get answered on the blog, and I'll just put like a post together or like the 10 top questions and try to answer this for you. So if you know something about a tinted moisturizer I haven't touched on, or if you have a question that I didn't touch on or something that is bad about them that I didn't touch on, be sure to leave what you know or what you want to know in the bottom so we can all kind of learn and be more informed. But I hope that this helped you guys. I hope that you learned something, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Love you guys. Bye.